anger can be contagious, or depression, like really volatile emotions can be contagious. And so we have to just make sure that we've got those lines drawn and say, okay, he's having a bad day, he's taking it out on me, he's human, it can happen. I'm not gonna retaliate and push back. I'm just gonna step back and say, hun, I see you're having a really bad day today, and I feel like your target right now, so I think we just need to stop and let's take a break and we'll come back. That's kind of what I get Mike saying. Well, we are in the kitchen with our kitchen couples. We have Mike and Diane and Dan and Danielle. And guys, it's all about boundaries in marriage. Boundaries.
Yeah, Dr. Mike, he had some good points there. Like, and it's, you know, it's something that we need in all our relationships, you know,
to be healthy.
But in marriage, the most important relationship, you know, we need to have those clear boundaries as well, and not allow the other person to just dictate your feelings and catch things from them.
But in marriage, your lives overlap so much. It's almost like Mike said, counterintuitive to think of like drawing lines around where your spouse doesn't affect you. But you have to do that in a healthy way. So that, like, I love when he said that it can be anger can be contagious, or depression, like really volatile emotions can be contagious. And so we have to just make sure that we've got those lines drawn and say, okay, he's having a bad day, he's taking it out on me, he's human, it can happen. I'm not gonna retaliate and push back. I'm just gonna step back and say, hun, I see you're having a really bad day today, and I feel like your target right now, so I think we just need to stop and let's take a break and we'll come back. That's kind of what I get Mike saying, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, we're trained to think we here as marriage, we're joined as one. We are one, but ultimately I'm responsible for myself. I'm not responsible for you.
True.
Okay. Yeah.
When you think about it, and I'm going to throw this one to Mike, because how would a football game be without the boundaries? You know, it would be kind of chaotic.
You know, I would like it. Because I can run everywhere.
Yeah,
yes,
right.
yes.
Can't catch me.
Yes. In the essence of it, though, when we think of boundaries, it kind of has a negative connotation in some respects, right? Because we're in this relationship and we have to mark these grounds. Right? And so we are not being bound with boundaries, but boundaries actually give us freedom, right? They give us freedom to love even when we feel threatened, right? Or even when we feel uncomfortable. It's saying that I've got boundaries on how I am going to behave, regardless of what my bride does, right? I'm going to have boundaries on how I react to that. And that reaction is actually going to give freedom. It's a weird thing, though, because you know, when we think about how a relationship works and the different things that counteract there, I get the more control I exercise, right? The more freedom I give. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
yes.
no, it's the same in parenting
Right.
too. I
That's
think, you know, we experts say we thrive, or our kids thrive, with bedtime routine, with curfew, with all of those things. They actually, even though they think they don't want it, they really do, and they need it. Yeah.
Same with discipline with your kids. When you discipline your kid, people say, oh no, why do you do that? But they want to be disciplined, right?
And I love what you were saying, Mike, about the boundaries giving you freedom. And along the lines with kids, I heard a report done once where a schoolyard, they hadn't put up fencing yet around the schoolyard. It was a new school. And so at recess, all the kids kind of grouped close to the building. And they would play, but they played really close. They had this huge yard to play in, but nobody would go in it because they didn't really know how far, and it wasn't safe. So when they finally put the fences up, the kids were everywhere. They were playing everywhere in the playground because they felt safe. They knew there was. So when we have boundaries in our marriage, we're actually creating safe places where we can thrive as a couple because I'm not giving you permission to tear me apart because you're having a bad day. It's like, okay, I'm gonna protect what we've got here. I'm not gonna lash back, or you can say that to me too. You know, not that you're always the bad guy, I'm just picking on you like crazy here. But you know what I'm saying, you know, and so because then it creates this safe place where you can grow and you can be free and you're not controlled by the bad stuff.
And those kind of boundaries or kind of the rules of your relationship, you set either ahead of time, either before marriage or you're into marriage, but at a time where you're both calm and you're saying, let's just talk things through. If you do this, I think it's important that I not give into that. Maybe that we just take 15 minutes or we, and so you kind of know the rules ahead of time instead of making them up on the heat of the moment. Yeah.
Oh, baby, in the heat of the moment, it's hard, isn't it? Yeah, because you're right there.
And sometimes you don't have them in place, though. So there are some things that you can't predict, right? And at that time, exactly, walk away a little bit and then come back. So don't try to create the boundaries in the middle of it all, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
And then it might be a matter of kind of debriefing after the blow up and after thing, and just say, remember the other day when we had that issue and I walked away. It's because I feel when you are at this point that it's important, for our relationship that we just take that time. And so maybe it could be a post, fight, analysis, and then setting some boundaries there.
And it could be that if, say, you say something inappropriate to your spouse, say I say something to you that's condescending, and you just kind of, it offends you and you really don't know what to say and you just kind of walk away and you think, it's good to come back and say, honey, 2 days ago when you said that to me, you really, it felt like you were talking down to me and I didn't appreciate that. And so, because I've heard it said that you teach people how to treat you. And you're tutoring people. This is how I expect to be treated, so this is what you can do to me.
You get what you allow.
Exactly. So even if you're beyond the point that it's already happened, you can look back and say, you know what, that wasn't really good, and so let's not move forward in our marriage that way. I really don't want to have that kind of
For
thing.
educational purposes, not for it to beat them back
Right,
up with it, but just to
exactly.
clarify and say, I'm kind of drawing a line here.
Yeah. Because we all want to be a better us, right? The name of the show. We want to be a better us. And so if you're joined as partners in making the us that you share the best it can be, then you're both on board with whatever it takes, and sometimes, a lot of times, it's swallowing your pride and saying, okay, I kind of blew it there. I shouldn't have done that. I'm really sorry. I'll do better. I see that now.
And we're going to draw a boundary there.
Yeah, boundaries. It's good. Yeah.
So
All right.
good stuff.
Good
So
stuff,
lots more you could say about it. That the book he recommended, you should get too. In fact, we'll have that on our website.
Yeah, abetterus.tv,
yeah.
website.
Now we're going to be back in the kitchen in a little bit, so stay with us.
Yeah, more
Lots
to come.
Okay, this is kind of dangerous territory, talking about in-laws. We probably don't want to give too many personal examples who might be watching. I don't know.
In-laws watching here.